Hey guys, I've shared with you the benefit of using hydrogen peroxide. It's one of my secret weapons when I travel for business and how I can stay healthy despite being surrounded by rooms of sick people. It's also very useful when you're in a situation where there's a lot of people sick around you and you really don't want to get sick in everyday life, whether it's your family, right? People counting on you, you have to stay healthy, but your family is sick, you're looking after them, and you're using that as a preventative measure. It's really useful for that. Or you just had a long day, right? I had a long day today at the office. There's a lot of meetings back to back, and my brain feels just a little bit foggy. It's great for kind of clearing up that brain fog to rejuvenate, and that's what I use hydrogen peroxide for. Now, a lot of you are asking just exactly how you measure these things out, right? It's very confusing because it depends on what's your target quantity that you want to put into your nebulizer and how much saline you use and what your starting percentage is. So it's difficult to kind of work out and measure just how you get the right solution. So I'm going to share with you a spreadsheet that I've created that hopefully will help explain how it all works, how you measure things out. So let me walk you through the calculation. By the way, you can see the formula I use. You can just copy this. Now, if you want this actual calculator, reach out to me. I'll share to whoever who wants it for free. Okay. But other than that, you can actually see this in the video. Okay. In terms of the formula I use in the spreadsheet. So if you go with spreadsheets, you can just actually just copy the formula and use it. Okay, so now hydrogen peroxide comes in different percentages. Just make sure you use the food grade version because we're ingesting it. It's going into our lungs. We don't want all the stabilizers or the chemicals that they typically use with hydrogen peroxide that's designed for cleaning or external use. We don't want that in our body. So make sure you get the food grade hydrogen peroxide, get it from a trusted source. And what you will notice is there's different percentages of hydrogen peroxide. Now you're not going to get 100%. I've never seen it, but typically 35%, 3%, 1%. So depending on the source of your hydrogen peroxide, you're going to get different percentage. So what you're going to do is to get the result percentage and work that out, you need to first start by looking at what percentage your hydrogen peroxide come with. So let's say it's 35%, and you want to mix it with saline, not distilled water, saline solution. And if you're looking at 10 ml, okay, so 10 ml, 35%, what that means is if I use 0.9 ml or milliliter, I'll end up with a result percentage of 3.15% solution. Right now you're probably wondering what percentage should I aim for, and this is depending on the application and your goal and what you're trying to achieve. There's different recommendations. So Dr. Schellenberger, Schellenberger, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably spell it wrong. I'm pretty sure Schellenberger uses or recommends 3%. Now what I find is 3% for a lot of people is a little bit on the strong side. So if you find that it's a little bit burning, it's really hard to use, like you got this burning sensation in your nose or your throat, just turn it back a little, right? You can start off with 0.18%, which is what I put as a fairly standard concentration to aim for. 0.18% is fine. You can do 1.5%. Probably not a good idea if you're using this for the first time to go for 3%. Okay, and then so you understand that's a starting percentage, and you need to measure out how much hydrogen peroxide you're using. Now, typically, if you want a 10 ml solution in your nebulizer, adding a 0.9 ml or 1 milliliter, it's not going to make a significant difference to the volume. So I generally use the saline as the target volume or quantity of solution I'll use in nebulizer. So if I'm doing 10 ml in the nebulizer, that's what I typically use. I just use this and I make the adjustment to hydrogen peroxide because it's such a small percentage, especially if I'm using 35%. It yeah, it does like this. The amount in hydrogen peroxide is not going to matter much in the context of the saline. So here, that's the guide. Now, how would you measure these out? I'm using millimeters because typically for medical and scientific measurements, it's typically used in millimeters. Now, if you're using different other liquid volume measures, just do the conversion. You can Google on the conversion and work that out. Now, because I want to be very precise, so what I find in terms of drops, like those basically tubes with the little like glass tube and you can suck out how much, I find that a little bit imprecise. So what I find fantastic when I first was trying this out is actually these things. Okay, so these are used by diabetic to inject insulin, and the reason I like this is it's very precise. So right, 0.5 mil. Right, you can get very, especially if you start off with a very strong hydrogen peroxide, 35%. Typically, you don't want, like we're talking about less than 1 mil, which is really hard to measure if you use anything else. Right. So, for example, let's say if I choose to start off with 1% solution, I've got 35% hydrogen peroxide, got 10 mil of saline. Then I might just go 0. Let's try 0.5 mil. Okay, 1.75. If I'm aiming for 3, it might be a little bit higher, or maybe 0.85 perhaps. Okay, that's close enough, right? So this one will give you 0.58, 0, well, 1, the full syringe is 0.5 mil, so we just have to do it twice, but then one is full and the other one just 3/4 across. Sorry, not 3/4, but approximately 0.35 mil in the second drawer. And that will give you a very precise measurement. As to what I typically use, now, if I have a cold, I will use 3% if I have a cold. But that's because I've used this tons and tons. Again, I know how it feels. Everyone's a little bit different, and you're going to have to experiment with that. For just general maintenance, right, I'll use 1% solution. Just if I need to clear up some brain fog, feeling fatigue, I just want to feel a little bit better. I usually 1% solution is a great kind of everyday general purpose use of hydrogen peroxide to help boost your focus, energy, and just clear up the fog. Would I use this every day? Probably not. It's like exercise. So I don't know if you know this. Hydrogen peroxide is it's actually a pro-oxidant. So it actually oxidizes things. So the way it works is a bit like homeostasis, so a hormetic effect, like exercise. So in the short term, it does stimulate and oxidizes, but your body in a attempt to adapt actually help you make your body stronger. And it actually kills viruses and bacteria on contact as well. That's what your body naturally produces. So I typically wouldn't, like for general, I wouldn't do it every day, right? I'll do it every other day when I need it. And when I'm sick, I will do it 2-3 times a day. All right. I hope you find this video helpful. Now, if you want recommendations for things like nebulizers, there's a ton on Amazon, but be careful. A lot of the Amazon stuff, the quality is very bad. It's hit and miss. So you might have to try and find a good one, or you might go for a reputable brand. So for me, I use a Philips, can't remember what's it called, but a Philips branded nebulizer, which is really, really good, high quality, well built. And there's a few other brands. Now, if you want, again, recommendations, or you're looking at a particular one, you just want my opinion on it, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. All right, guys, I hope you find this session useful. Oh, before I go, I just want to point out that there's a few resources that might be useful. So this is where I copied the percentages from another book. I think was a book I read about the mapping, and I just used that to check my formula to make sure I'm correct. And Dr. Brown's team has a protocol for using vitamin A, C, and D when they get sick. Okay, combined with hydrogen peroxide as a therapy. So there's a few resources. Again, if you want a spreadsheet, I can just send this to you. But if you or just reach out to me, I'll send it to you. So I'll figure out a way of getting you these links if you want those resources. All right, guys, I hope you find this useful. I wish you stay healthy, strong, focused, and